Dale had been doing a lot of reading on Hellenic myth. So when he said he had a surprise for us at his pumpkin jamboree, we knew he wasn't screwing around. The jamboree, a weekend he organizes on his property to bring the town together and raise a little money for the fire department, features a hayride, face painting, and a cakewalk that occupies the entire side yard. But his corn maze tends to be the highlight. A crew of hardcore maze runners formed a line before he had even finished setting up. I deposited my $5 in the bucket like everyone else.
Only it isn't a maze this time. It's a labyrinth.
What's the difference, Dale?
I'm glad you asked. It's largely the fact that the path is unicursal, not multicursal. There's only one road, and it leads to only one place. There's no point if you can't get lost. Also, each of you has to go in alone.
Hey, my kids aren't going in there by themselves.
Nobody has to go in if they'd rather not. To be clear, the labyrinth is known to possess magic. Some say in the center you discover the one thing you most desire in the world. Others claim that God sits beyond the last bend. Individuals must find out for themselves.
There's no way I'm going in there.
Dale starts his mazes a few months beforehand, cutting into the young corn when it's tall but not yet sprouted, taking a pass first with the tractor, then with the riding mower, to pull out the brace roots and tamp the corn down. He draws the maze plans on drafting paper and displays them afterward in his swept-out garage edition. He calls it the Hall of History. Knowing the work he put into it, I thought it was a shame to stand by and see everyone go. I'll go first. I'll do it.
That's the spirit. Jim will do it, everyone. He'll start us off.
I know you worked hard on this maze, and I intend to take full advantage.
It's a labyrinth, but thanks. That's the kind of pluck we're known for around here.
All right, then.
You'll need this.
I don't know about all this.
It's the face toss disc. I paid a pretty penny, so mind where you set it.
How'd you get that?
Let's say I got lucky during a period of government oversight on the part of the Greeks. It puts a finishing touch on my project. Now you go on, Jim. This is my entire life's effort distilled. Find out what it's all about.
You remember what he did on the hayride last year? Some asshole, his cigarette drop, started a fire in the hay right in front of a bunch of kids. Jim there took it upon himself to jump out of the truck and run for the fence. He didn't come back, and so we put the fire out and went looking for him. And when we found him, oh my lord.
That's enough.
And so the shame of the fire gained purchase once again. You could live your whole life in the smallest town and never run out of an audience for a story like that. I took a step back in the direction I had come, but it felt as if I were pushing against a strong wind. The trivet was exerting a lateral pressure as if it were magnetized to the far horizon. Still, I labored against it. The force nearly tipped me on my rear, causing me to experience a devastating vision of myself emerging from the labyrinth, soaked down to the back of my jeans, clocking in for yet another year of ridicule. So I turned and continued into the labyrinth, at which point the conversation began again.
You gotta hand it to him for going in there alone.
He's got balls.
I never knew he was so brave.
He has a strong heart.
Actually, I find him pretty handsome.
I'm so proud of him.
I wish he'd come out here so I could shake his hand.
I didn't realize how exhausted I was until, turning the last corner, I found the center. The trivet was straining toward the ditch. It took my whole strength to hold it back, and my strength was failing. But I had to keep it safe. Dale had given it to me with two hands, looking me in the eye. With the last of my power, I turned around, positioning myself between my burden and the hole. The trivet grew cold and even heavier than before, though I felt no desire to move from under its mass. I saw now that it was a stone like any other. I found that once I stopped struggling and held very still, barely breathing against its mass, I could hear the crowd again. They were telling stories of my heroism and bravery, of underwater rescue and diplomacy, tales I couldn't remember being a part of, though surely I must have been involved in some way, if so many recalled them so fondly. Eventually, I did try to stand, at which point I understood the trouble. Folks, I think I got stuck on a root structure or something. Dale, I need help. Can you bring a crowbar? I was alone. Then I met the Minotaur.